everyone. I am Kinga Kovacs. I work for Energy Cities, and we are the Shared Green Deal partner that is engaged in coordinating the recruitment and the implementation of the 24 social experiments within our project. I would like, first of all, to congratulate you again, all of you, for having obtained the grant. And of course, this comes with some engagement and some obligations. And so here I am to talk to you about reporting. So what does it consist of? It basically consists of three elements. The first one is that you need to participate in 12 online monthly meetings with the partners, and prior to each of these meetings you would need to submit your online monthly survey. This you all know by now because you've been doing it. So you need to do 12 of these. This is the first element of reporting. The second one is the midterm progress report. This has two parts, the narrative report and the financial report. And basically the deadline is 19th of October 2023, which covers the 6 months of your social experiment. As its name said, it's a midterm report. So basically this is the period that is covered from the 1st of April 2023 to the 30th of September 2023. And this report is not compulsory. So it is only necessary if you would like to receive an additional 30% of pre-financing and that can be granted to you in case of approval of the midterm report and of its annexes by early November. So as I said, this is not compulsory. And the third one is the final report, which is compulsory. So the third reporting element is the final report. This should cover the whole duration of your social experiment, so 12 months, more or less. And this report needs to be submitted 30 days after the completion of all your activities foreseen in your social experiment. So this needs to be complete with the financial report, the narrative report, and all the annexes. So such as the deliverables that are foreseen within your experiment, but also all the financial statements and their annexes, which means invoices, timesheets, cost quotations, in case you do subcontracting, and travel documents. So these are the three elements. For the final report, of course, this is the most important, and as I said, the only one that is compulsory. So basically this report and the quality of the deliverables that are submitted with it will be evaluated by your responsible Shared Green Deal project partner, together with the research lead and practice lead of the experiment, and finally approved by the Shared Green Deal coordinator. Thereafter, you will receive the final payment within a maximum of 2 months after the submission of your report. Yes, a question that we have received already from some of the local partners is are we flexible with the in terms of deadlines and the duration of the experiment? So the answer is yes, we are flexible, but within certain limits, which means now all of you have signed a grant agreement with a Shared Green Deal partner with a specific duration and a list of commitments and obligations. So your social experiments needs to last approximately 12 months, but we have foreseen a larger period if you look well at your grant agreement. So basically the period is larger. This is basically just to anticipate some justified delays which might occur, so that we don't need to proceed to an amendment to the initial contract. But basically you would need to stick more or less to these 12 months. But as I said, a slight delay can be foreseen And yeah, in some justified cases, in this case, you would need to notify your responsible shared green deal partner as soon as possible. And this is valid also the other way around. So basically, some social experiments will be completed even before 12 months. So we've already got this question also from several of you. So this is possible also as long as you have provided all your deliverables in good quality and that the final report was validated. So in this case, you will receive your payment earlier. What are the eligible costs? For this, you can consult your grant agreement, as there are all of these are detailed in the annex to your contract. But basically, to sum it up, the eligible cost categories are human resources, travel costs, including accommodation, logistics costs. Logistics is like catering or renting of a room, so that you might have linked to your event and such. Communication costs, equipment, and subcontracting. So in terms of staff costs, you need to pay attention here. It's only permanent or temporary staff that is directly employed by your organization, or that they are in-house consultants. So for instance, staff costs of people that you subcontract for your experiments are not eligible here. They should be in subcontracting. So these are people who are basically on your payroll. What is eligible is the actual salaries, the social security charges, and other statutory costs. And it should be, of course, in line with your usual policy on remuneration. So, for instance, should be really based on pay slips and timesheets, and so you cannot pay someone more than usual just because you receive a grant. So this should be really your usual policy on salaries. In terms of travel and accommodation and subsistence allowance, again, this should be in line with your company rules, the usual ones. We don't estimate that first class is eligible, so it should be economy class, and you should always keep evidence of your travel. So receipts, boarding passes, used tickets should be kept. In terms of equipment, this is also eligible, but you need to attach a specific justification for its need, because our grants are rather small. So of course, in this case, you need to explain clearly why you dedicated a certain amount of this budget to equipment. And also in terms of depreciation costs, of course, they are only eligible for the period covered by the project. In terms of overheads, so these are eligible, and they represent the indirect costs. So overall, the general administrative costs of your organization. So this is like, it can be heating, electricity, water, insurance, stationery or maintenance, or I don't know, phone. So, and this is calculated as 7% of the global amount of your total eligible direct costs for your action. So it's all the costs that I listed above, and it's 7% of these. This can be claimed as overheads. In terms of subcontracting, so first of all, it's super important to say, and we repeated it a lot of times, that you cannot subcontract the experiment as a whole or a major part of it. So it should be reasonable, of course. And what do you need to consider? Here you need to consider best value for money. You need to have 3 cost quotations for each subcontracting item. And of course, this needs to be really justified and linked directly to the activities and objectives of your local social experiments. Now, I think it's important that I give you a few examples because we had some questions on what subcontracting is. For instance, someone wanted to have 3 cost quotations for catering. No, this is not necessary. Catering is not subcontracting, or renting of room is not subcontracting. It's basically other direct costs. So it shouldn't be listed as such. Subcontracting is really referring when you outsource a major part of your experiment. So for instance, if you want to do a workshop and you outsource the whole workshop, its whole organization, design of the program, of the agenda, invitation of speakers, everything to an external organization, then that's subcontracting. Or if you, I don't know, if you set up a website for your local social experiment and you outsource its design to an external partner, that is subcontracting. So yeah, pay attention, because it's no need that you overload yourself with 3 cost quotations for catering, for instance. But in any case, if you have questions on this, please don't hesitate to ask and have this validated by your linked social Green Deal partner, shared Green Deal partner. Other aspects that you should take into account is that you are not allowed to have double funding. So this is the rules basically of Horizon 2020, under which our project is funded. So you shouldn't, it's the no double financing rule and the no profit rule. So you shouldn't make profit of this. And the cost should be incurred within the period. So if your contract starts on the 1st of April, the costs that you incurred end of March are of course not eligible, because your contract is out of the period of your contract. The cost should be of course justified and reasonable and compliant with your legislation, of course, and should be indicated in the budget. Of course, if there's some justified deviations from your budget, this is fine, and as long as it's explained. Yeah, that's it about the cost categories. And one important thing I would like to add in the end is the communications aspect, because it's super important that you display and also for the reporting purposes that we see that in your deliverables or websites you really display the logo of the project of Shared Green Deal, and also the EU logo and the disclaimer. You can find all the reporting templates in the MS Teams file of your experiment stream. They also detail the annexes that you need to submit with the reports. These are also sometimes specific to your own experiment focus, so experiment stream. And of course, in case you have questions, you can liaise always with your referent partner from Shared Green Deal, and I'm also happy to support. And I wish you all the best of success for your experiments and what's still left to accomplish. So enjoy it. Thank you. Bye-bye.